Okay, starting on our new packet, we're going to start with writing equations in slope-intercept form. So I'm going to rewrite slope-intercept form, which we've actually worked with before. And then I'll write an example over here. Okay, so in the slope-intercept form, it's called slope-intercept form because you can see the intercept and you can see the slope. So which part of this is the intercept, the M or the B? So the intercept is actually the B. And sometimes you're going to get it as 0, comma, B. Okay, so over here in this example, 7 is our intercept, y-intercept, or you could write it as 0, comma, 7. The slope is the letter M, and in our example, slope is the fraction 1/2. Okay, so your job is going to be, given the slope and the y-intercept, you need to write the equation. So let's practice. I'm going to write the y equals mx plus b. Alright, so we're going to start with y equals, put in the m number, and then you go plus b. Now, if your b happens to be negative, you don't have to put plus 2, you can just put minus 2. And that's it. That's a level 1. Y equals, throw in your m number or your slope. Don't forget the x. Plus your b number. Because it was a positive 8, I did plus 8. Okay. Now this was given to us as like the 0, comma b. Here it's just written out a little bit different, slope and y-intercept, but it's the same thing. This is your m, this is your b. So y equals, put your m in there, negative 4/3, x, and then put in your b. Since b is negative 1, instead of doing plus negative 1, I can just write minus 1. And then the last one, this is your m, this is your b, y equals, put your m in there, 1/2, x, and then plus 3. Okay, that's level 1. We're also going to go over level 2 today, which this one's a little bit more complicated. So I'm going to turn the page. And here is your level 2. So this time we're not given the slope and the y-intercept. We're given the slope and a point. Okay, so because it's a little bit different, I'm also going to write the steps over here on the side. So because we're given point and slope, we need to start with this form, point slope form. Okay, so it's going to look like y minus a y number equals m parentheses x minus our x number. So the first thing we're going to do is we are going to write the equation using y minus y sub 1 m x minus x sub 1. Okay, but that's not the form that we wanted in, but let's just practice that part. Okay, so we know slope is m, and then these two numbers, this will be your x sub 1, and this will be your y sub 1. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and write these into the equation. So start with the letter y minus, now which one of these three numbers is your y number? 2. Put in your slope, parentheses, x minus your x number. Now, because that's a little bit new to us, and it's a little bit different, let's do that one more time with the problem number 2 before we move on to finish the problem. So we're not finished with this one, but let's just practice that one more time. So y minus, which one of these 3 numbers is the y number? 3, equal sign, slope comes next, x minus, and then which number is your x number? 8. Okay, now this is not in slope-intercept form. So there are 2 things you need to do to get it into slope-intercept form. The first one is you need to get rid of the parentheses. And how you get rid of the parentheses is you distribute. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to do this. We're going to multiply that number in. So this negative 3 is going to get multiplied in. Okay, this isn't going to move. Y minus 2, stay there. And then negative 3 times x is negative 3x. A negative times a negative is a positive. 3 times 1 is 3. And then I'm so close to being in the form. This is point slope form, but what I want to do is I want to get the y by itself, so it's y equals mx plus b, okay, which is what we just worked with. So step 3 is to add or subtract the number by the y to get rid of it. Okay, so the number next to the y is a minus 2, so I'm going to go plus 2. And here's your final answer. Y equals negative 3x plus 5. Okay? All right, let's look at the next one. So we're just working through those steps again. We already wrote the equation. Now we need to distribute and then add. So let's do the distributing. So we're multiplying half times x. So y minus 3 is half times x, just half x, minus, and then what's half of the number 8? Okay, now if you don't like that, if you can't tell what half of 8 is, you can also take 1 times 8 in your calculator and then divide that by 2, which is 4. Okay, we've done step 2. Now step 3 is to add or subtract this number next to 3, the y, to get rid of it. So I'll go plus 3 to both sides. Feel free to use your phone calculator or any other calculator you have, or use your computer calculator. Negative 4 plus 3 is a negative 1. Okay. Let's just do one more, and let's do number 4 just to do some negatives. So number 4, the numbers that you are plugging in are going to be negative. So when I go y minus, and then I'm plugging in negative 4. Minus a negative means I'm going to change that to a plus. Equals, and then the slope is negative 1/2 x minus, and then it's negative 6. So if you're putting in a negative, that's actually going to turn to a positive. Okay, step number 2 is I'm going to distribute this slope. So y plus 4 is equal to negative 1/2 x. And then half of 6 is 3, but because I'm multiplying it by negative half, it's actually minus 3. And the final step here is I'm going to subtract my 4. So y equals negative 1/2 x minus 7.